Do you feel like you're constantly spawning in just to get lasered down by the first enemy you see? Or even worse, are you running around the map only to get taken out from some obscure angle you didn't even know existed? If this is happening constantly, it's not that you lack skill. The current Battlefield 6 maps are chaotic, and most kills come down from timing and positioning rather than raw capability. In this video, I'm breaking down the exact tips that will help you stay alive longer, move more efficiently, score more kills, and actually become more valuable to your team. First thing to understand, don't be too hard on yourself. The current design of Battlefield 6 maps encourages what the community calls zerging, that aggressive, chaotic rushing around. Everyone's doing it. You see your teammates sprinting everywhere, so you think you need to do the same or you'll be left behind. But here's the thing, just because everyone else is playing recklessly doesn't mean you have to. The first tip sounds simple, but it's huge. Slow down. Sometimes you're doing the enemy's work just by recklessly running around without a purpose straight into their sights. I know people are saying the game feels too fast, that everyone's running around like it's team deathmatch. And yeah, that's happening, but you don't have to join that chaos. You can actually take advantage of it. The key is to understand when to sprint and when to keep your weapon out and ready. Here's a bad example. Watch this. I'm sprinting into a capture point. I'm not looking around corners. I'm not ready to shoot. The enemy is waiting and I get melted. Now watch the same approach, but this time I'm walking, weapon out, checking out angles as I move. Enemy peeks and I'm already aiming, ready to win the fight. This is the difference between dying and surviving. If there's likely to be enemies where you're going, have your weapon ready. If you're rotating through empty space with no threat, sprint to get there faster. It sounds obvious, but most players are sprinting constantly and then getting caught out by enemies they didn't expect. Also, keep in mind, with the current time to kill in Battlefield 6, whoever shoots first wins about 80% of the time. So being ready to pull the trigger the moment you see an enemy is legitimately the difference between kill and death. Another important aspect is to watch your health before peeking and engaging again. I know that sometimes in the heat of battle it's hard to keep track of that, but many fights are lost because you either pick the same place and the enemy is waiting, or even worse, you immediately pick the same spot with low health and you get downed instantly. And I also know that's hard to let go of that kill, especially if you landed some nice hits, but chances are you're picking against his teammate with full health now. Also, if you find the tips helpful so far, hit that subscribe button for more Battlefield 6 content. The next one is frustrating to implement, but it saves lives. When you die, your instinct is to get back into the game as fast as possible. You mash that deploy button and drop back in without thinking. But if you just spawn back in the same way you died, you're probably going to die the same way again. It's this cycle that makes the game feel frustrating. So instead of constantly doing that, take a few seconds to analyze the battle before spawning in again. Look at where your team is fighting and what they're pushing towards. Notice where they're taking objectives and where the enemy is defending. Understand the flow of the map before you spawn back in. For example, your team is about to capture a point. Spawn there instead of somewhere random. You arrive ready to support them and you might have the numbers advantage this way. Example 2. You have a squad mate who's infiltrated behind enemy lines and is ready to make a surprise capture. Spawn on him. Now you're two people making an unexpected push instead of one. Much higher success rate. Example 3. An enemy team is fast capturing your point and there's no teammates defending it. Don't spawn there alone 1v5. Spawn elsewhere and regroup with your teammates to recapture it as a unit. Taking this short pause before spawning can legitimately be the difference between a bad experience and actually having fun. You feel like you're making good decisions instead of constantly being caught off guard. This is where Battlefield 6 is fundamentally different from other shooters, and it's why solo players struggle so much. If you're coming from Call of Duty or other shooters, or if you never played Battlefield before, you need to understand that teamwork counts way more than individual performance. Trying to capture a well-defended objective by yourself won't work, and if the enemy has good tank crews, it takes coordinated team effort to take them down. And here's where I see a lot of players go wrong. They focus on getting kills instead of using their class utility. If you're playing Assault, use your ladders and deploy beacons. If you're Engineer, near, keep the skies clear with your Stinger, keep pressure on land vehicles with your other launchers, and lay mines at crossroads and choke points. If you're support, drop supply crates constantly, place cover for your team, revive teammates, and use smokes to help your team move through open spaces. This is huge and most support players don't do it enough. If you play recon, your job isn't to get sniper kills, it's to constantly spot enemies for your team, place motion sensors in objectives, and use your drone to scout. I see way too many players so focused on topping the kill count that they forget the scoreboard is topped by highest score, not highest kills. Battlefield scores teamwork and objective play differently than other games. And here's a bonus tip. If you're the last one alive in your squad, don't panic push. Stay alive, stay in cover, let your squad spawn on you. The advanced spawn position can let your squad regroup faster and maintain pressure on the enemy. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just stay alive and be a spawn point. This one is the big one and separates good players from the rest. People complain that Battlefield 6 plays like a deathmatch, but then they continue picking random fights for no strategic reason. Don't fight in some random corner of the map, away from any objective. Even if you win that, it won't matter that much. These random kills won't help your team. Compare this to fighting with purpose. Same engagement, but it's at an objective. When you win, you are positioned to either capture or defend something that matters. So here's the rule. Prioritize fighting around objectives, not random fights. Always ask yourself, is this fight worth taking? Does it help my team control the map? If the answer is no, just keep moving. Also, this is critical. Always move cover to cover. Never spend more time in the open than necessary. If you're crossing an open field, assume enemies are already watching it, especially if there's no smoke cover. So these are the core tips that you should remember next time you jump into the game. Pace yourself and stay ready to shoot. Think before you spawn. Play your class and stick with your team, and always fight with purpose around objectives. These aren't flashy tips, they're fundamentals, but they're the difference between feeling like you're getting demolished and actually feeling like your contribution matters for your team. The chaos of Battlefield 6 rewards timing, positioning, and decision making over pure gun skill. Master these fundamentals and your survival rate will skyrocket. Let me know in the comments which tip helped you the most, or if you got other survival strategies that work for you. And don't forget to subscribe for more guides and Battlefield 6 content. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.